for the economy, most especially for semi-industrialization. Now, the president decided to handle those ones under a myoga. And I want us to be very clear, because very many people ask this question, that what is the difference between a myoga, PDM, Ndandikwa, OWC, they mix up so many things, but it's because they are not ideologically grounded. Ideology is a set of values and ideas that you set a clear path to reach a particular objective. And these we have followed very clearly. And that's why I've broken it down that way. Right from the core principles of our ideology, coming down now to the strategy, and now to implementation. So, the strategy of handling the services has been through a myoga. But why money? One of the biggest factors of production, one of the biggest drivers of economies is the capital factor. But capital, and I have to be specific with this. Monetary capital, because capital can be in many forms. Monetary capital. And in which form? In the form of credits. So we are dealing with cheap capital or cheap credit to help these people boost their businesses, their enterprises. And through the service sector, we are doing that through myoga. So the myoga is handling the services. Now, it goes fourth strategy, which is agriculture. But saying agriculture shouldn't just be agriculture, because even abakolere chidda chonka, those who work for the stomach only, still go and dig. But they are doing it in a subsistence manner. They are doing it for their stomach. They are doing it for food security. They are not doing it in a commercial manner. So he is specific and he says we need to prioritize commercial agriculture. Commercial agriculture, and he has said it in Uganda. Obulimi bw'ekibalo. He has also said it, I think, in Luo. Agriculture with Chura. I think he has also said it in Ateso. Agriculture with Aymar. He has tried as much as possible to be as simple and exact for everyone to understand. And for me, when I see the crowd here and those online, you should be the ambassadors of this. If it makes sense to you, please carry on this message. So, how are you going to handle agriculture, commercial agriculture? He has now used the strategy of the parish development model to handle that big, huge percentage, 68% that are in agriculture, either agricultural enterprise or in the agriculture sector. So, that now brings me down to how you can define or describe the PDM, that is the parish development model. Now, the parish development model is a strategy, and I want to re-emphasize this point. It is a strategy. It is not a project. It is not your common program. It is a strategy. Now, this strategy is a strategy for service delivery by government. And this one is aimed at improving household incomes. Why is it at the parish? The parish is the last administrative structure. Why do we have to go to the last administrative structure? Now, that is where all leaders should understand. And that's why Mzee always says, bond with your people. Government, and most governments, operate at a very high altitude. I'm just going to give you a simple example. Most of you have flown in planes, haven't you? Okay, if you have not flown in a plane, you've been on a high building. At least you've gone to Sheraton and not to But if you have not been, let me explain it to you. If you're high up there at a high altitude, you always look down. For those of you who have been in planes, you will look down and see water bodies, very nice green. Everything looks rosy and good when you're high up there. That is what governments are doing. Being high up there, you can't see the malnourished person. You cannot see the grass-thatched houses because you can't see them from high up there. Why have we decided to take this model down to the parish? It is because we want government to come up from the 30,000 feet up, go down to 3 feet, and at that point you will see the grass-thatched house, you will see the malnourished kid, you will see the bad water bodies, because when you're high up there, everything is blue in the water. You will not see the algae and you will not see the dirt in the water. So, we have said every service sector, every service delivery sector in government, please coalesce efforts at the parish. All of you come from your high horse and go down to the parish. We want you to connect with the people. Most of the people always, I think you've seen, because you're now political leaders in your own right. When you go down there and try to interact with the people, they want you to just they want you give them something and they go and do their own things. You're wasting their time because they feel you're not connected with them. You do your things there, you come and give us what you've gotten for us and go away and continue doing your thing. That is the disconnect that we have with the people. Now we are saying, government, please go down to the people. Go down to the people who have given you your mandate. We have been doing that, but not with a deliberate effort. So that is what the parish development model is emphasizing. I wanted to make it as simple as possible, because if I come here and I speak a lot of English in definition, you will even get lost and say, ah. But that is what Mzee is talking about in the manifesto of the NRM. Please go down to the people, get close to them. So government, can we have your presence at the parish? That's what the parish development model is. Why is it there? And how then do you see what we are talking about in theory? You know, Honorable Kwe, I think you know, you come from Kanyandai? Burasha? Okay. But you're from Fort Portal. Now, I think you know that there are some particular people who are caught in this vicious cycle. No income. If you have no income, you cannot save. If you can't save, you cannot invest. And if you can't invest, you will have no income. So it will go back and you keep on in that vicious cycle. No income, no saving, no investment, back to no income. Now, we are trying to break that cycle. And how are we going to do it? We are going to show you how we are going to do it. The structure of the parish development model is tailored to that particular problem statement that I've just mentioned. So it has 7 pillars, but most people, of course, want to hear the pillar of financial inclusion. But it's a much bigger thing. It is very, very crucial and very important, the financial inclusion pillar, probably the most important, but not the only. The first one, like we said, that it is in agriculture. We are looking at the agriculture value chain, right from production, productivity, post-harvest handling, processing, trading, up to markets. And we are handling the whole value chain in the first pillar. The second pillar is about infrastructure and economic services. Infrastructure, if you produce and the productivity is good, you have to evacuate this produce. How do you evacuate it when you have broken bridges and bad roads? You have to work on your road infrastructure. But also, if you want to add value and process, Like these people who have maize mills and coffee hallers, that primary processing, hulling, you need electricity. So you need electricity as an infrastructure plan. Then, of course, you also have things that aid, infrastructure that aids production and productivity, like irrigation schemes and all that. So that is pillar number 2. Pillar number 3 is the one for financial inclusion. Financial inclusion, like I've told you, there is expensive credit in this country. Very expensive credit. Now, what is the option? What is the remedy for that expensive credit? Government is going to bring grants to the SACCOs, which I'm going to explain, to the SACCOs, as a grant, and then it revolves. I'm going to get back to that after finishing the pillars. Then pillar number 5 is about community mobilization. Pillar number 4 is about social services, actually. And social services are health, education. You need a human resource if you're to be productive. Healthy human resource. Literate human resource, because we are going to do literacy programs like financial literacy and entrepreneurship. Then the 5th one is community mobilization and mindset change. Now that is also very crucial. Honorable, let me tell you, I have been moving around, and this is not a condescending statement I'm going to make. But you know, I think the first, before we even go down to the communities, the first people that should change their mindset are the leaders themselves. Right from the top there, by the way. Not President Museveni at the helm, but the leadership in the top echelon. Those need thorough mindset change. Before we even get down to the communities, and I'm sorry I put a disclaimer that this is not a condescending statement, but it is a fact. Because these are going to be the ambassadors, they're like the trainer of trainers, who are going to take back this message. I've been on quite a number of talk shows, and people are centralizing politics on this issue. I've been on quite a number of talk shows, and I will not mention the people I've been with. But you actually, and you look at them and you see they are completely bleak about what we are talking about. And all he can say is, mwagala kulia. And that is it. He's not looking at the bigger picture. Yes, there is corruption, but that one can also be capped. That is a different topic for another day. Let's look at the concept first. You can't go down to execute something without a concept. At least agree on a common concept. So mindset change is very important before we even get down to the public. Now, when we get into the public, mindset change means literacy. The things His Excellency is talking about, enterprise selection. We want people to have something or to do something that will give them money. He has always been talking about ebikado. The average household size, the average household land size in Uganda is about 2 acres. How are you going to put bikado on 2 acres and you think it's going to be profitable? It will not be profitable, because that is an extensive farming activity. But he gave us guidance of 7 enterprises that make sense commercially with Chibaro. And those 7, he has described them in so many books. You can't fail on dairy. You have to learn small size, do intensive zero grazing. You can't fail on piggery. You can't fail on poultry for eggs. You can't fail on fish farming. You can't fail on coffee, even though coffee is done from 4 acres and above. But also remember that you also have to do food crops for your food security. But you have to teach these people that leave that practice you're doing, go for this. He has told you so many times that mindset of people in Chiruhura, those days, the nomads, he told them, banange mulekerawo okutambula, looking for pasture for your cows. You never settle, and you always in that nomadism sense. You try to change your ways of doing farming and cattle keeping, and he has transformed the people there. And that is the mindset we are talking about to take to the community. But also mobilize them. Some of these programs go down there and people don't know. There is no awareness. People don't know. The leaders keep quiet. Everyone keeps quiet. They believe that if many people get involved, there is going to be a problem. There will be little to what? To share. So that is the pillar number 6, which is very critical. And now, I'm sorry, pillar number 5. Now, pillar number 6, we are not going to go in blindfolded. We are not going in blindfolded. We are not going to be shooting in the dark. We are going to collect household data. And we are doing it even right now. Do profiles of parishes. This is an era of technology. We need to know the characteristics of these households so that we know exactly what we are going to tell them. So we have a whole pillar on parish-based management information system so that we go when we know the people we are dealing with. And we are collecting data household to household so that we know the characteristics of these households. So that we know how many people are in the subsistence. Because we can do this with science, but also participatory. Because there is also participatory appraisals, but that is a detail which we shall teach in the field. I'm just giving an overview. So that is pillar number 6, very crucial as well. Then of course the governance, the pillar number 7 is governance and administration, where you see parish chiefs are being recruited to fill in the gaps of the structures that are going to drive this strategy. So those are the pillars of the parish development model. But now let me get back to pillar number 3, which is financial inclusion. We have been, and this is a question, and I think I'm going to answer so many questions in this particular presentation. Very many people have been asking, what is the difference between the PDM and other interventions? Myoga, OWC, Bonabagagawale, Entandikwa, Youth Livelihood, UWEP, Green Jobs, there is a litany of them. All of them are wealth creation funds, wealth creation interventions. But what is the difference this time around? And politicians have jumped on this and said, explain to us what is the difference apart from economic gerrymandering and political gerrymandering. We said, well, if you look so closely in the explanations I've given you, you will find the answer therein. This time around, it is not a top to bottom approach. It is a bottom-top approach. And now let me explain this properly. I'll just give an example because most of you are youth here. For example, the Youth Livelihood Fund, the Youth Livelihood Program, YLP. YLP is a very good program. But we have reviewed, because it has had successes as well. No one can claim grim over it. No one can say it failed. No, probably it did not achieve as much as we thought it should. But we now know where the loopholes were, where the gaps were. And that is the process of learning. Now, this strategy, we have developed it with hindsight of the gaps and the lessons learned from other projects and other programs. Now, YLP was a typical top to bottom approach. Why am I saying this? Money would come from the Ministry of Gender, from Ministry of Finance, goes through Ministry of Gender, from Ministry of Gender to the district. Isn't it? Now, from district, that's where problems would come. And this one, not all district officials are funny, but there are some. In Uganda tugamba kumbaga tekubula musiwufu. Embaga ya district eyo mubeeramu abasiiwuufu. There is always someone who is crafty. Now, that's where the problem would come in. It would come in from appraisal. Now, when these people are doing appraisals, They look at, what's your name? Daniel. They look at Daniel and said, you've come, where is your proposal? It is here. They look at Daniel. Hey, this one here. How much do you want? 15. This Daniel looks like a mwejere. Maybe you should take less. Give us 5 million and your proposal goes through. Isn't this what has been happening? Now, that is the problem of a top to bottom. Appraisals are done at the district. Monitoring of these projects are done at the district. Now, how do you monitor something of Daniel who you ate money from? Give you a kickback. And evaluation is done by the same people. They're going to evaluate themselves on performance. By the time the money gets to the youth group, it has been diluted. Now that's the top to bottom approach. Good intention. Very well written out and crafted. This time we said, how do we eliminate this? Because this is a process of learning. How do we eliminate this? Said, why don't we use a bottom-up approach? Now this time, money is coming from the treasury, not even through any ministry, direct to the circle. Direct to the circle. Now, at that particular moment, you are bringing in the people, the owners of the enterprise groups and the circle. And this has been learned from, again, previous interventions and previous. When I was campaigning in 2014, every weekend, they are what they call VSLs sitting. At least minimum 30 people in a village. And there are very many all over the place. So it's up to your speed. You can see even up to 200 people a weekend. For free. That's what he told me, for free. But of course, when I reached there in the first meeting, they told us, so honorable, they oh, honorable, what was said da? What are you looking for here? They look the other side. Njogeza means there is that small hole on the box. You have to throw in. You have to throw in something. But you know what you're doing? You're capitalizing their what? Their association. That's what you're doing. Because these people have very little money in those boxes. But there's something that struck me. I looked at all those people seated there, and I asked the treasurer, because I'm a bit educated and I have some literacy, I asked the treasurer, but do you have books? Do you have books of accounts and, books, financial? He said, he pulled out some exercise book that I think was like 15 years old, but very neat, and he showed me. I went through very quickly because I know some bit of accounts, my entrepreneurship background. I looked through very quickly, and I actually noticed that these people's efficacy was at about 98%. So I was intrigued and I started asking him, how do you do this? He said, no. We are the ones who appraise. We are the ones who monitor. We are the ones who evaluate. For example, you look at this process. Last week. So he told us 1 week is enough for him to bring back the money. So he has brought it back. Others have also brought their savings. But when he brings it back, there is another person who is going to borrow. And we determined him last week. So when this man stood up and they asked him, Tireta Center, you told us you're going to, I tell you, see, I haven't yet paid, they haven't yet paid me, I tell you, see. One of the members said, I am not your neighbor, don't lie. And you know they gave you cash. Now you see how they are evaluating themselves and monitoring themselves. But they did the appraisal themselves. That is the success of those VSLAs. It's based on that. Now look at that model in the village. Extrapolate it into a circle at the parish of these different enterprise groups of households. They know each other because it is village-based. This is peer. They are going to, when they are borrowing money, they are going to guarantee each other. Botwala Center, because it's a revolving fund, Botwala Center, I know I'm the one getting next. Or if you take my money and I know I'm getting next and you don't come back, I'll be the one I can even go and pick up your wife. With so much annoyance, I will go and pick up your wife. So that is how they do it. It is member owned. It is their thing. So government is giving them money. It is capitalizing. What I told you, that I came there and I put in something in the box. And I didn't tell them, give me membership or give me back my money after some time with interest. No. So government is doing that exactly. We are capitalizing these parish banks called SACCOs for them to revolve that money amongst them. Government is not going to take it back. But once it is revolving, it has some little interest so that that fund can grow. This financial year, we are starting with 17 million because of budget constraints last year. In the COVID economy, you know. This time, the president has prioritized, and this budget framework, the next financial year, it's going to be 100 million. The next year, 100 million. The other year, 100 million. Until His Excellency President Museveni says, I am tired of being the president, which is going to be probably like 20, 40, 50 something, 60 something. But this is going to be in perpetuity. As long as NRM government is there, we shall keep on capitalizing these circles. That deliberate message we are giving and the deliberate effort is that this time, hakuna mchezo, we are going to fight this disease called poverty. We are going to inject it with all the injections of money possible to make sure that these people get out of the subsistence economy. So, in summary, that is what the PDM is all about. But, like I've said, it's not only about financial inclusion. I will part with one last example. You see, we have what they call the PDCs, the Parish Development Committees. It has elected leaders plus the parish chief. Now, it is not the same Kachiko which is going to run the circle. No, the circle is member-owned. They do their own elections. The PDC, which is the Parish Development Committee, is an oversight committee to just see that everything is done well. But they also have other work, and that work is what I'm going to tell you. One time I was, again, campaigning. I learned a lot from campaigns. So, I am a minister. Be a koti yange, feeling all sweet, telling them now, you people, I know what your problems are. I know that there is a problem of water here. Oh, of course, water is a generic problem everywhere. I am going to bring a borehole. Honorable Chibule is my friend. Shh, Mazi. Chibule, borehole. How many do you want, sir? I want many, but now first one, this one. Those are advantages you get when you're minister. Borehole bajire say, drilling. So I go for the handover. All sweating. Else get for me the villagers. They are all there, the community. Tiaha, ndoze chizibu cha mumuchirabye. Ngamba nakalulunka maze wano. This one, 100%. Then there was a smart guy behind. He put up his hand, an old man. Said, Honorable, Tisebo wherever no, thank you very much. This borehole, it is clean water. It is, we know it's expensive. By the way, Honorable, how much is it? Very quickly, 24 million. Looking at them and saying, but at them 24 million. Then the man said, wherever they know, Honorable, that is ordinary, sir, thank you very much. Naye, you know, there is always that one person go gamba, my opponent has said this one. When he starts naye, you start saying, now what is coming next? Nti naye, honorable. Olaba oluguudo olusomoka wali. Olugenda mu muluka guli. Tulina ekizibu awo. We have a very big problem there. There is a choke point. There is a bridge which needs like 6 culverts. And guess what, honorable? Do you know, again, when you're near there, there is a very nice spring which has very, very, very nice water. We have been using that thing, by the way, and there was no problem. But our biggest problem was that choke point. It only needs 6 culverts. Maybe about 200,000 shillings. Do you know why? Because the borders have to go round when they're coming for us. A journey which would have taken 1,000 shillings, they are charging us 5,000. When they are evacuating our produce, because of that choke point, we can't go over that place. The trucks go round, so they charge us more. So we think if you had done for us this, and we make a saving, we would have repaired our little spring there with very beautiful water, nice mineral water. But anyway, thank you very much, sir. In my head, I said, this charo is finished. This one, the man had told me the truth. He had told me, you're doing what you want, what you think is good for us. But we know what we want. And that's what the Parish Development Committee is doing. It sits down and prioritizes and plans for the parish and the needs of the parish because they know what they want. Instead of building a clinic, a health center too, they are saying you help us with some little money to build toilets, because the biggest number of diseases in that small health center from this village are related to sanitation. Prevention is better than cure. Government curative measures are much more expensive than preventive. If you just build sanitary facilities in a village, both communal and homestead, you'll have cut down 50% of the health problems in that community. And they are saying, why can't we do this? Come down and we talk together. That is what the parish development model is all about. So for those who don't understand it and criticize it, I would implore those particular people, and you know our people who criticize it, look at it, put politics aside, and see exactly what the NRM government, with its ideological core principles and through the strategies, is trying to do for its people. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I know I could have gone on and on and on. When I'm talking about this particular topic, I feel this is a transformative discussion, a transformative political agenda and economic agenda. I can spend the whole day talking. But thank you very much, and thank you very much, Chairman. I hope I have delivered in summary what the parish development model is. Thank you.
Wow, I told you that with him at the helm, we are sure of success for the PDM. Ladies and gentlemen, the NRM is supposed to be a revolutionary organization, and we are a revolutionary organization. The president keeps repeating the maxim, which I have now also become addicted to, that the whole thing about revolution, the NRM revolution, is for the many, not for the few. Once it's for the few and not for the many, it's not a revolution. Once it's for the few and not for the many, it's not socio-economic transformation. So the parish development model is trying to answer a fundamental ideological question. Have we been doing things for those who are in the aircraft and they are looking down and they think that all is well? Because there are many people out there who are angry, and rightly so. You can go and prepare a very nice plate of bacon and sausages and eggs and coffee, but you don't know the religion of the person you are going to serve the bacon to. So all that he's saying is that the difference between PDM and other interventions is that this one is allowing the people to make their own choices and even to make their own mistakes and learn from those mistakes. So now I would like to, the way we do it, we are very organized. You can see, Honorable, the queue. So where is Dawn? And where are the microphones? Dawn, how many people do we have online? No, I'm not saying in the queue. What's wrong with you? 8,900. So, Honorable, you have been talking to a sub-county. You are being listened to by a sub-county of in. Yes. Now you please begin with the question.
Okay.
And he will be writing.
Thank you very much, Honorable, for the great sensitization, and really pray for the implementation, not a hanging word, strategy. So my concern is the youth are hiking, but do we have a way of influencing jobs for the youth, who are really going to be the biggest percentage during the voting in 2026? Then what do I advise on the hiking number of youths? Call the advertised jobs and consider our youth, which will create a great partnership and success for NRM as a party. Chama cha Mapinduzi in Tanzania, let's also follow the system that NRM continue through that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I always feel blessed whenever I come for this clinic. My name is Piloya Babronyeko, and I am a student of Uganda Christian University. My question is, according to your presentation, you said the reason as to why they had to opt for parish development model, it was because the system was somewhat not working effectively when it comes to the district. Now, as it's going to reach, it is now decentralized to those in the parish. Are those officials still going to be in charge of the PDM? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable. My name is Patrick Odonkara. My concern is only one. I've even just understood today Paris model. That's the truth. Because I always compare it, it is the same with everything. But I've understood today, and I know I can say something. My concern is one. You know, most of these groups that will going to get this money are farmer and business people. Can we have an entrepreneur people on ground in the parish, and then the agricultural extension officer on ground to teach people really? Let's employ these people, agricultural extension officer, to first tell them that, can you change from to do agriculture as a business first? Because this is where this money will be spent. Otherwise, people will do the same business, they will have the same project, and when it dies, the money has gone completely. Thank you so much. May God bless you.
I am so fortunate to be part of this clinic today. My name is Namuli Joweria, and I am so glad that I've understood the parish model today. And it's so simple. Fortunately, it's so simple. With the people that defend NRM's or the government's initiatives online, and it's always been hard to defend the parish model development because everyone relates it to yoga, youth livelihoods, and so on and so forth. But I'm glad I've understood it and I'll be able to defend it. And my worry is, like before, everything that has been frustrating or paralyzing government initiatives has always been the technical know-how, those small vices. where people come up with probably ghost circles. They get money, and money doesn't reach the people that actually are supposed to benefit from such programs. How are we going to be able to fight such vices when it comes to the parish model development?
Good afternoon. My name is Amos Caroline. That madam is my boss at my circle. Now me, I'm from NRM Youth on Mission, a ghetto movement for youth. So as NRM Youth on Mission, twaline chibina, allow me to speak in Luganda today. Twaline chibina nga chabantu 10, nga buli lunaku tuwayo mutwalo. After 5 days, one person receives 500K. That gentleman, I want to commend you and I'm really grateful. Your explanation, kiraga nti no mwakoze research, mwatudde wansi ne mulaba ekitukolera. Kubanga ffe tutuula naku 5 nojayo emitwalo 5. Ne mumanya ani atasasula bulungi, mumanya atasasula bulungi n'abasasula, right? So mumanya namba 2, namba 3 atasasula bulungi ng'osembayo namba 10. Era nebaza nnyo Mukama nti eno program tubadde tuguddewo sako yaffe twatuula ne twewandiisa abantu 30, twakola ebibiina 3 abantu 10 ne tuwera abantu 30 kubanga bebeetagisa okuggulawo sako. Ne nebaza Mukama nti no baagiwandiisa tulina registration number twesortinga Kampala Central Progressive Youth Sako tuli awo wakiseka ku Maria Plaza F17, then office yaffe ya NRM Youth on Mission F15. Central Progressive Youth Sako registration number 1989 something stroke RCS. Ne bantu mwe leka don ndi musanyufu nnyo nzize kubuuza leka mbuuze don nzize kubuuza Mukama wange nzize kubuuza ndeka mbuuze nze nakolako internship ku local government nga bagamba sente bazi disbursinga ku buli district naye sente zijjako kufulu ya signature. So buli budgetary allocation bagaba sente nyingi nnyo na at the end of the year zino sente bazizaayo tebazikozeseza era president ajja kujja agamba nti no banziriza a lot of money. It has not been spent. The bureaucracy and the question of how do you get the money? That is my question. How do we get it?
Thank you very much. My name is Conrad Olweny, Guild Speaker, Bustema University, and I do Bachelor of Science in Agriculture. For long, I had also confused the parish development model, and I had discouraged the people who had asked me, simply because I had not understood it. We said this is like Myoga, because some villages, some people have fled. In the village, someone can go for a loan for eating, get loan, start buying meat and that. At the end of the day, they can't pay, so they run away. So with pillar number 5, I'm very happy with it. This is the biggest challenge we have. Community mobilization and mindset change. Because they are in the stages of adoption. These are laggards. There are people who are hard to change. But with this pillar, if we tackle it and finish pillar number 5, the rest will flow. The issue of finances, people will understand because they will know they are included and what you are giving them is their own. So which are some of the strategies that you are going to use to see that the message is spread? You've heard that most people have understood well today. But in the villages somewhere, most people have still not understood this. So you need strategies to spread the message and